Warning: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as a criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All people are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. I reserve my First Amendment rights to express myself. Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Okay. Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Y'all should be able to hear me. If I can hear myself, I can hear. Y'all should be able to hear me. Okay. So let me put this. I'm just gonna rearrange some things so that way I can sit back a little bit. Okay. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about a tragic thing that happened here in San Antonio, Bexar County. In Bexar County, San Antonio. If it's such a horrific thing, this unfortunate tragedy does happen too often here in Texas. A 5-year-old child, 5-year-old boy was left in a vehicle for pretty much all day, um, and was found unalive. Deceased. I shouldn't say unalive, but deceased. Um, so there's not much details on that story yet. It literally just happened. Not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. So, um, yeah, very, very tragic. I was able to watch 30 minutes of a video. I'm not going to show you the whole video. We're just going to get to the end where the chief is talking, kind of puts out the story of what happened, and how this came about. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of details. It raises a lot of questions, but we are going to cover a couple of stories that shows to be a trend. Um, of what happens here in Texas. We do get extreme high heat weather. I know these last couple of years we've had truly heat advisories where we're getting over 100 degrees multiple days in a row, which my kind of weather I do love, but unfortunately it's not the weather we want to be stuck in a vehicle. We ourselves as an adult would not be stuck in a vehicle with no AC, no, and especially no windows down, no nothing. I mean, it can get excruciating. I mean, it's worse than sitting in a sauna. So let's go ahead and kind of cover some of the stories. I am going to show the story of what happened to this little boy first, and then we'll just talk about other stories that's happened recently, because I think this is the fourth or fifth death already this year to a child dying of heat exhaustion for being left in a car too long. Um, Baby, that's a little loud, my love. I don't want to hear wild cracks. So, again, I'm gonna share this video. It was the original video is 30 minutes long. I'm gonna try to skip through the commercial real quick so we don't have to really. Um, but Let me pause it here. Okay. And so the chief does come out and does discuss the case. McManus. So let's go ahead and listen to this. Go back.
No shade for y'all down here, huh?
I mean, I'm going from Kerrville down here.
Yeah. Everybody ready? So we have an extremely tragic situation that just happened here. Mom came to work this morning who typically drops her child off at the Pinnacle School. She works right next door. She does that routine on a daily basis. And she thought that she had dropped the child off, went to work, left the child in the car, and came out this afternoon, went to the school to pick the child up. They told her that child never arrived, and they discovered the child in the back of the car, 5-year-old boy. Detectives are investigating right now. You know, their investigation involves determining whether it was an accidental or whether it was criminal. So that's what's happening right now. The family members are up there, quite distraught, as you can imagine. But that's the long and short of it. Right now, it's an active investigation to determine accidental or criminal.
You said she worked close by, right? So she parks the car there and walks to her job. That's in the same plaza, the parking lot.
She typically drops the child off, is what I'm told, and then drives over to work. And then when she's done work, comes back, pick the child up, and
So she
realize,
drove with the child to her job.
yes, and the child was still in the car seat. So
Sir, was that on this Pinnacle Kids property, the property right behind you? Is that the location
that's where they are now.
where they are now?
Yeah,
Okay. And
because
this,
she drove back over here from her place of employment.
I see. But as far as Pinnacle Kids, does that organization, does this have anything to do with what
No.
happened here?
No, they don't.
Do you
They
know
don't.
about how long the child was in the car for?
My understanding is from early this morning till about, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours ago. So, all right.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks.
And just one last thing, and I guess this serves as a tragic reminder, you know, check the back seat, don't leave children or pets in the vehicle here in South Texas. Okay?
Thank you.
I ordered 200 hand-forged knives to my dorm room.
So yes, very tragic 5-year-old boy. Uh, like I said, there's a lot of questions to this, and yes, rest in peace. This is horrific. It's a shame. Um, honestly, I know a lot of people probably do say, "I would never leave my child in the car," whatever, whatever. But I mean, things like this do happen, whether it was intentional or accidental. But again, as you can tell, the the chief did say it was routinely for her to take um, her child to the daycare and then straight to work. So Again, they didn't give a lot of details, so they didn't say whether maybe her routine was, altered in some way, for that day, or it is summer, so maybe, it could have been where a relative probably was watching them and then, maybe they couldn't and she had to take them to daycare and just didn't realize, but he did say this was a routine basis, so, again, there's a lot of questions, like, did you not drive to the daycare, and did you just in your car get down and not I don't understand how, something like this happened in this situation. Again, when things are kinda, out of the ordinary, yes, I can see something like this being an accident, where like in that we'll get to the case where, one of the foundations, where this has happened to them, and so this is why they started a nonprofit, a foundation to make people aware that things like this happen, so if you build it in your regular lives, habits of, 1, checking the back seat, checking your car, your vehicle before you locking it, routine habits like this, regardless of how your routine changes up, it's gonna be instilled that right when you shut that before you shut that door, you're gonna check the car. So, again, these things are just tragic, and we need to, make parents, young, old, all ages, aware of the dangers and how to prevent it. I really think, a lot of these parenting classes, when I like parenting classes nowadays, they're not required anymore. I don't know if they were ever required to be taken when, back in the day. I know, you could take these classes at the hospital, you can take Lamaze classes, you can take breastfeeding classes. These are classes that are taken by choice and they're not required. I just think something like this should be in I mean, it's kinda hard to make a parent be like, when they're pregnant, be like, "Hey, you gotta do all of these things," but I just think it's best in the child, or make it a I don't know, a high school education course or something. Something needs to be, college courses, when, we're nowadays we're starting to have, people having kids having kids kinda thing, so, um, we need to give them the information to be prepared and to educate them on some of these incidents that can happen when they're adults. Um, Again, a very tragic situation. We are gonna go to the next video. This is just kinda, um, goes over again, some of the statistics and some of the things that, can be prevented, and again, we'll just kinda go over and she'll tell her story of what happened and, like, it can be an accident, whether it happens to you, your husband, or, a caregiver, that cares for your children while you're at work or away for whatever reason.
News out of San Antonio tonight. A 5-year-old boy is found dead after being left in his parents' car. Police say the parents didn't realize he was missing until they went to pick him up from school, only to find out that he was never dropped off that morning.
His body was later discovered in the back seat. Now, this marks the 4th hot car death in Texas this summer, and that's already more than all of last year in the state. Tonight, our Bill Churchwell speaks with a mother who experienced her own close call with her son, and she's now using her story to help save lives. Bill?
Her experience is a powerful reminder that this can happen to any family, even those who say, "I could never forget my child."
We'd leave the house, we'd drop him off at daycare, then drive across town and take me to work.
It was one simple change in routine for Michelle Stuyvesant and her husband
That particular day, we reversed it.
that turned into a nightmare.
About an hour and
Backseat Michael suffering multiple strokes. He spent 2 months in the hospital and in rehab.
to this day, it's the worst thing that I've ever been through in my entire life.
But he survived, and today he's a teenager. His family's mission has only grown. They now advocate through the nonprofit organization kidsincars.org. There's always those individuals out there who say, "I would never forget my kid. This could never happen to me," but it can.
Yeah, my husband was one of those people. He was very judgmental before it happened to him.
15 children have died in hot cars across the U.S. this year. Last August, 2 of those tragedies happened here in the coastal bend, back to back. A 22-month-old died in Corpus Christi outside a middle school. The next day, a 9-month-old in Beeville on one of the hottest days of the year.
We have a saying, look before you lock. Walk around the outside of your car and take a look before you lock the doors to make sure that the most precious cargo that you have in that vehicle, your child, is safe.
To show how fast temperatures rise inside a vehicle, we left this teddy bear in our news car as we watched temperatures climb.
Okay, it's showing 107 and 35% humidity in about 5 minutes of time before the noon hour.
Experts say to use simple tools like putting your phone or bag in the back seat, setting reminders, or having your daycare call if your child isn't dropped off.
It's not intentional. You would never, ever harm your child in any way. It's just not going to happen to you. But there's always that off chance, that perfect storm of events. In our case, it was just I needed to be to work early.
Keep in mind, temperatures don't have to be extreme outside for the inside of your car to heat up. One of the deaths involving a child left in a car that happened last year, it was just 77 degrees outside. Now, coming up tonight on 3 News at 10, you might have a car that gives you an alert to check the back seat. Well, it's part of legislation passed in 2021 that requires all new cars to include rear seat alerts. But advocates say the rule still hasn't been enforced in all vehicles. We'll take a look at that. Back to you.
The question everyone keeps asking is, how could
So yes, it can get very dangerous for a child to be left in a car. It's dangerous for anybody to be left in a car. Um, definitely like they made suggestions, leave your purse in the back seat. Another thing is us as females, we should already be checking our vehicle for safety issues, not just if we have a child with us, but even if we're by ourselves. Like, I- sorry, my boys are being boys. Um, but you should always check the back seat. Like you're not just gonna jump in your car when you're out at a bar, not knowing that anybody could have been in there, anybody could be in there before you get in there. You have no clue what's going on. So, female wise, we should always be checking the car, regardless, before and after we exit. Um, and then to understand that this lady went to work and then left work, drove to the daycare. So that means you were in the car like multiple times and you weren't alert that your child was still back there. And then another question is if your child, I mean, how was your child? And then like was a child like that's why you don't put the child behind you. You put the child diagonal from you. Now if there's 2 people in the car, then yes, I could see you could put it behind them. That way the passenger person could keep an eye on them for you. Got it? Hint. Yes. But if you're driving by yourself, like usually you have eye view of your child. So your child is usually, on the opposite side, not behind you, because then you would constantly have to be looking in your rearview mirror to see what the heck they're doing wrong back there. And then that might cause an accident because you're constantly taking your eye off the road, again, putting your child in danger. So anyway, so it's like, where was this child at? Like, how did you not see a 5-year-old? And I'm looking at my kids, and my kids are really, they're not 5, but they're pretty much the size of a 5-year-old. I'm like, how do you not know these kids are not, even when they're asleep, they take up the whole dang back seat. Like, how did you not realize? And then did she says she normally drops them. Then that's when the chief kind of made that little, when he was asked that question, like, so did she drop them off today or whatever, and he kind of like cleaned it up, like, no, she didn't go, like, he wanted to say like, no, she didn't go to the daycare first, but like she went straight to work, like, but he kind of cleaned it up. So I really can't just assume that he was gonna say that. I really can't. That my bad. But what else? Like how? Like you routinely go to the daycare. Like, so did you not go to the daycare today? Did you just like have like a blackout moment and just went straight to work, thinking your kid was at home with a family member or something? Like, what was so different about that day? And how did you go to work, get out of work, drive all the way to the daycare to realize that your child wasn't even there? Then you got out of your car, went inside to go pick him up. At least with that parent, he remembered, like, "Oh, shit, like, my schedule was changed. I never went to this like, I never went to the daycare. My child is still in the backseat of my car." Like, that's a normal accidental reaction, but you went to work for 8 hours. Did it not click that you never went to the daycare? Did you not click that you went into the daycare? I mean, even if you were to drop off, let's just say, okay, you go to the daycare, baby, you got bags, diaper bags, what do you got your sheets, your blankets if they take naps and things like that. So yes, usually Mondays and Fridays are like the worst days for daycares because those are the things when you're dropping off all their stuff for the week and then you're picking the stuff up at the end of the week. So those are the times where your hands are usually the most fullest. If your child is not already like 7, 8 years old where they don't need naps and they don't, they don't need these extra things, their own sippy cups, their own this, their own that. So for obvious reasons that daycares have those rules in place. But anyway, um, even if you're dropping off that stuff, the first thing you get down before taking in the bags is your child. You don't go and take in the bags saying, "Hey, baby, wait here while I go take in the bags," and then go take in the bags and then just get in the car and drive off. Like, no, you get down your baby first. Say, "Okay, teacher, here's my child. I gotta be back. I'm gonna go get the bags." And go get the bags. So I really don't understand like how this incident happened. Maybe with the other lady when she explained her situation, like, this was our typical routine. We did it backwards. So he coming from work, it's an automatic, like, that's what when you build up those habits, you go to work every day, you take that street. So on the weekend, when you don't have to go to work and you got to go in the same direction, like to a store or something, you find yourself kind of going in. People are like, "Hey, where are you going?" You're like, "Oh, shoot, I'm not going to work," because it's a habit. So yes, with him, for him dropping her off first, it was a habit because she's usually the last one to go dropped off and then go straight home. So I can see that being instilled in his head and it being an accident. Then he realized an hour and a half later, not 8 hours later, not 10 hours later, but he realized obviously it was still a little extremely late, but that he didn't drop off his child. Um, so this case, I am really, really curious about the events of what happened on that day because she typically drops him off at the daycare, and so she drives over to work, and she worked all day, and then she drove back over here, and no, that's her typical day. So her child being left in the car is not typical. So what happened on that day? Because that's not a typical day anymore. When you leave your child in the car and your child passes for being left in the car, that is not a typical day. So what was different about this day that wasn't so typical? Because you could tell me, "Oh, she typically does this." Okay, but she didn't do it that day. So what was different about that day? Did she really go into the daycare that morning? Because the daycare didn't I don't even know, I can't say they didn't even put that information out there on the response of the daycare because the daycare said he just wasn't dropped off. Now, that means to tell me, like, if the mom went in and, like, dropped off some type of bag or something, I'm sure the lady would have been like, "Hey, this mom dropped off a bag, but she never came in with her child. Was she dropping off the child too? Can you call her and see?" Um, because obviously I know what it's like for a school, daycare, or anything like that to lose a kid because they've lost my child. Trust me. He was first day of at a new school and they lose my child. They had no clue, one, who my child was, where my child was at, and nobody called me to the freaking end of the day when they couldn't figure out where to put him at. Well, how he was supposed to get home. Like, how do you do that? And they're really lucky that I didn't take that above their level because I was extremely heated. Because technically, you're lucky that he was still on campus, that he was at least safe within the. I wouldn't even say safe. I mean, you didn't even know who he was. He was stuck in the principal's office as they were calling every parent in that grade level to see who this kid belonged to. And unfortunately, my child has speech issues, so he doesn't couldn't really tell them anything. So It was horrible. It was horrible. I was like, this whole time, I'm thinking my child is safe, and my child could have been anywhere, and you wouldn't have even known. So, like, not even the teacher said, "Hey, I'm missing this child on the first day." I didn't get no first day app like this child is absent on the first day of school kind of thing. Like, nothing, nothing. Just, hey, we have your child here all day. We didn't know he belonged in one class or whatever, and blah blah blah. Like, it was nothing like. And hopefully my child wasn't it wasn't a trauma, they didn't make it a traumatic experience for my child, because then that would have been worse. I don't even think he knew what was going on. Thank God, because he wasn't he knew what school was about, so I'm sure he knew that he was okay in the office. But still, it's at a new school. Like, we switched schools in the middle of the middle of the year, like towards the end of the year, like March, April, May, June. Like, I think you only had like 3 or 4 months with this my child, and you lost my child the first day he was enrolled at your school. But anyway, we're not getting there. So, because this topic is about parents who leave their kids in the car, so I get it. And obviously, if you have multiple kids, you do lose your head, and you're like, hey, make sure you get your brother down, or you're holding one, you're holding the other one, make sure you this. And I get it, you lose your head, but in this case, I don't know if this was surely an accident. I think I'm gonna need more information for me to make. Just because you tell me this is her typical day, and this, like, no, like, I don't know. Not no, I don't know. And then this, I'm going on to a 9-year-old, and this 9-year-old not making that it was okay, but that just means his mom was playing dumb. His mom should not be a mom if you think it's okay to leave your child in the car for a few hours while you go to work. I get it. Sometimes it's hard. You don't have nobody to watch your kid, whatever, whatever. Sitters, daycares, all these stuff, they're expensive. Especially if you're a single parent, the system is set up for people like us to fail. So when that happens, tragedies like this happen. People think they'll put their own kids in danger just so that way they have money to pay rent for their kids, to have food on the table for their kids. Not only at the same time are they endangering their kids to do this, they're thinking they're doing it for the right thing. So you see how, like, they mess with your heads and make you think that things like this is okay to do, just so that way you can make the money to pay to live in society. Let me just go on. Let's play this video. And again, this is in San Antonio. Or near, or a little out. I think it's right outside of San Antonio, but it's still Bexar County, San Antonio, Texas. All that. So let's just.
In a park industrial complex, a 9-year-old girl was found unresponsive inside this white Toyota Camry, while her 36-year-old mother worked at a manufacturing plant nearby.
I'm extremely upset and disappointed that a 9-year-old, beautiful little girl has lost her life by no fault of her own.
Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez says the girl's mother found her when her shift ended at 2 p.m. But by then, it was too late. The little girl was rushed to LBJ Hospital, and there she was pronounced dead.
The mother knew and left her in the vehicle with some water, a window partially lowered, and went to work.
Safety advocates say that doesn't prevent tragedy.
There's no safe amount of time to leave a child alone in a vehicle. And it's a myth that if you crack the windows that it will make the air cooler.
How fast can a car be dangerously hot for a child?
A car can heat up, especially in the summertime, in a matter of minutes to a temperature that can cause brain damage and other health-related issues. And literally in minutes, the car could be at a fatal temperature.
USG, the company that owns the property, confirmed there was a medical emergency, saying in a statement, "Our thoughts are with the family of the child and all those impacted."
It's not worth it to just put a child at risk like this, for any particular reason.
Experts say these deaths are preventable and urge parents never leave a child alone in a vehicle.
Again, these are all within weeks of each other, maybe no more than a month apart from each other. here in San Antonio. Again, this is not an issue just here in Texas, but we are really, I should say we're well known for it, but our state is one of the biggest states to have this issue. And it's something that does need to be corrected and looked at in some way. Form classes need to be taught. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I think with technology nowadays, there's YouTube channels, there's TV channels, there's streaming all over the world. Like, why can't we just come up with a channel that teaches people how to be proper parents? And I shouldn't say proper parents, at least safe parents to make sure your kids are safe. Like, I understand, like, you do what you can to make sure you have a roof over your child's head, you have food on your child's back. I mean, in their stomach, clothes on your child's back. Like, we get the struggle, but at the same time, we got to do it safety and keep our kids safe while we're trying to make them productive members of society. Um, Again, let me share this one. And this one was maybe a little while ago. I think this was back in November, but still, what is that, like 6, 7 months ago? So less than a year ago, this incident happened. So we're gonna share.
Autumn Events presents the opulent Elegance Trunk Show, happening in Dallas on 14 July.
And first at 5, for the second time this week, children left alone in a car have ended up in harm's way. On Monday, a 5-year-old girl was hauled away when her mother's car was towed.
And today we have a story about another 5-year-old who drove onto a busy street. And not only that, the kid had a 3-year-old in the same car. As Katrina Weber shows us, the father of those 2 children is now on the road to trouble.
Even outside of rush hour, traffic on this stretch of Foster Road near Lakeview Drive doesn't take a break. Luckily, one car in particular, backing out of this Family Dollar parking lot Monday, was able to avoid trouble. According to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, the driver of it was just 5 years old. Investigators say that child and a 3-year-old had been left alone in the car while their father shopped in the store. He told them he left the children sleeping and the car running while he spent about 10 minutes inside. At some point, it appears the older child got into the driver's seat and backed out into traffic. Witnesses say when the car went into the middle of the street, the 3-year-old climbed out. Then the car suddenly went forward, hitting the curb. They told deputies once they looked inside the car, that's when they realized a 5-year-old was behind the wheel. Those witnesses were able to get the 3-year-old who was in the street to safety. Neither child was hurt. However, their father, 41-year-old Derek Deloach Sr., was arrested on child abandonment charges. Earlier this week, a woman spent frantic minutes trying to track down her 5-year-old daughter, who was towed away along with her car. She told San Antonio police she also had left her car running with her child inside at a Blanco Road apartment complex while she knocked on the door of her relative. In that case, police say they're considering charges against the tow truck driver. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Lanier by Neuromod Devices uses dual mode stimulation to soothe.
Okay, so again, San Antonio, Texas. Again, here is another one. We're gonna kind of listen to it and kind of go over the article with it. Let me rewind this. I'll share it with you. Share this tab.
Care workers charged after child dies in hot van. This article is being read by an automated voice generated by Everlet. 3 people in South Texas are facing charges in connection with the deaths of 2 children who were left in unattended vehicles in separate incidents over the weekend. In Cameron County, police have charged Karen Silva, 36, and Cindy Ruiz, 38, with injury to a child causing death, a second-degree felony, after they allegedly left a 4-year-old child in an unattended vehicle outside a daycare on Friday, June 27th. Meanwhile, the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office has similarly charged Ricardo Mata, 34, for allegedly leaving his 3-month-old son in a hot car outside his home on Saturday. Police responded to the Learning Club preschool at 3900 Perez Line Road in Brownsville at about 4:55 p.m. on Friday, June 27th, according to a statement issued by the Brownsville Police Department. There, they found an unresponsive 4-year-old child inside a daycare van. The child was declared dead once EMS arrived on the scene. Police arrested and charged Silva on Saturday, June 28th. She was later released from the Carrizales Rucker Detention Center in Cameron County on a $10,000 bond. Ruiz, meanwhile, was not taken into custody until Monday, June 30th. She remains in custody pending a $60,000 bond. A Brownsville Police Department spokesperson confirmed to MySete on Tuesday that both women worked for the daycare and that investigators suspect the child had been left in the vehicle for several hours. They were employees at the time of the incident, and both of these ladies were the last to use the transportation van to transport the children, the spokesperson said. Meanwhile, in Hidalgo County, sheriff's deputies responded to the 3200 block of John Mark Court outside of the city of Mission on Saturday, June 28th, after receiving a report of a 3-month-old child found unresponsive in a locked vehicle. Deputies later arrested the infant boy's father, Mata, on 1 count of injury to a child causing death. During a formal interview, Mata admitted to placing the child in the back seat of his vehicle and then going inside his residence to lie down, the sheriff's office said in a news release on Sunday. Mata further stated that he had been drinking and forgot that the child was in the car. It is unclear how long the infant was left in the vehicle, but he was discovered once family members realized he was missing, Longoria said. Mata remains in custody pending a $2 million bond. Prior to his arrest for his son's death, Mata had been out on bond in connection with a 2021 murder and attempted murder. Prosecutors allege Mata fatally shot a 22-year-old man named Leonardo Vélez, 22, and wounded the man's brother, Emmanuel Vélez, during an altercation that began at a Stripes convenience store, according to an indictment handed up by a Hidalgo County grand jury on January 27, 2022. The deaths of both children remain under investigation. Heartbreaking tragedies are preventable with new technology. For Lieutenant Enrique Longoria, Public Information Officer for the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, such deaths are heartbreaking and preventable. He urges parents to take steps to prevent such a tragedy from occurring in the future. I cannot stress enough that we have to do a better job of protecting our little ones, Longoria told MySete on Monday. As a dad, it's just one of those things. It can happen really, really quickly, he said. But today, it's easier than ever to set up systems that can help prevent leaving a child in an unattended vehicle. From car seats that come with built-in heat sensors to standalone sensors that can be purchased separately that use Bluetooth to alert parents of potentially dangerous conditions via an app installed on their phones. Low-tech solutions exist as well. Longoria said it can be as simple as leaving an important item, like a purse or cell phone, in a backseat with the child so that parents and caregivers will have a reason to double-check the rest of the vehicle. Eventually, checking the backseat will become a habit. If you start establishing patterns, that'll make it muscle memory, Longoria said. How hot can the inside of a car get? The inside of a car can become dangerously hot in a very short amount of time. According to safekids.org, temperatures inside a car can rise by 19 degrees in just 10 minutes, even if the windows are cracked. And on average, a child dies of heat stroke every 9 days. The risks are higher for very young children, whose bodies are less able to regulate their temperatures. Their bodies heat up 3 to 5 times faster than an adult's, according to a fact sheet on the Safe Kids website. Sometimes, however, it's not that a parent or caregiver has forgotten a child in a car. Sometimes, a child accidentally gets locked inside. In those instances, Longoria urges parents to call 911 right away and to seek a medical evaluation afterward, even if the child seems fine. Even though the child may seem okay, they could be right there on the brink of heat exhaustion or heat stroke, Longoria said. Editor's note: this story has been updated to include new information regarding the arrest of a third person and to confirm that both women arrested in the Brownsville case were employees of the daycare.
For pizza after the game.
Nancy Dawson is passive-progressive.
Well, that's nice.
unfortunate, very unfortunate incident. This morning at about 10 o'clock, we received a call out here that a little girl, 6 years old, was found on the
Again, here in Texas, people are just leaving kids in vehicles, um, drinking and leaving your child in the vehicle. Like all that is no bueno, no bueno. Okay, I think we already seen that one. Well, we'll go ahead and watch, see what they have to say.
A 5-year-old boy is found dead after being left in his parents' car. Police say the parents didn't realize he was missing until they went to pick him up from school, only to find out that he was never dropped off that morning.
His body was later discovered in the back seat. Now, this marks the 4th hot car death in Texas this summer, and that's already more than all of last year in the state. Tonight, our Bill Churchwell speaks with a mother who experienced her.
Okay. So let's go over the facts. Let me go, or some of the facts. Okay, so Texas has the highest number of child hot car deaths in the United States. Since 1990, over 150 children in Texas have died from heat stroke after being left in a vehicle. Nationwide, an average of 39 children die each year from heat stroke after being left in a car. So here's more detailed to break down. Of course, this is just the AI overview. Um, Real quick, Texas leads the nation between 1990 and 2022. Texas has recorded the most child hot car deaths compared to any other state. Texas averages around 5.5 hot car deaths a year. And if you remember him saying this is already the 4th death this year, so we're already about to be over the, that average. Rapid temperature increase. Cars heat up quickly with the interior temperature rising 20 degrees in just 10 minutes and 50 degrees in an hour. Children's body temperature rises 3 to 5 times faster than adults, making them particularly susceptible to heat stroke. A child's core temperature of about 107 degrees Fahrenheit is lethal. I mean, even 104 degrees for us when we go in there, like, oh, you got a fever, like, it's deadly. Fevers can be deadly. Hot cars can be deadly. In more than half of a hot car's deaths, the child was forgotten in the vehicle by a parent or caregiver. It wasn't because this child, you know, decided to open the door to the house, go inside the car, and decided to sleep in the car by himself. Like, no, these are either intentional or accidental by a parent or a caregiver. Changes in routine can contribute to a child being left in the car, as it's easy to slip into autopilot mode. Like I was saying earlier, it's real quick. Like once you're in that routine, even on the weekends, like you catch yourself sometimes driving to work, like especially if you're going in that direction. So you get into that autopilot according to the MedStar 911. So, of course, if you see any kids being left in the car, whether it's at a gas station or anything like that, please report it. Report it, because one, that is, and even if nothing happens to this child, the mother is going in real quick to pay for to pay for gas, come out, pump the gas, and you're gone within seconds. Not one, can that child be, building up internal temperature, but two, you're putting your child at risk for being taken by a complete stranger. Regardless if you lock the door or not, strangers are going to break windows, they're going to pick locks, they're going to do whatever they can. Now, how likely is it to happen in the afternoon, broad daylight with other, witnesses around? I'm sure that won't happen, but it still can happen. Early in the morning before you go into work may still be a little dark. Not the best time to leave your child in the car so you can pump gas. Like, not the best. I mean, even if you're pumping gas, you shouldn't really be having the vehicle on running while you're pumping gas. That's still dangerous. I don't know if that's a myth or not, but I'm like, no, I'm not playing with fire I'm not gonna play with it. I'm not gonna play with spark. I'm not gonna play with science. It'll get you. Science will take you out one way or another. Um, I don't play with electricity. I don't play with fire. I don't play with any of that. So I wouldn't even dare to do that. But when you turn off your car and you gotta pump gas, you know, you're gonna if you leave your child in the car, roll down the windows. But I mean, how hard is it for your child to get down and you hold their hand while they're pumping gas with you? Baby, I mean, it's real easy. You can change a diaper with one hand. You could change a diaper with one hand, blindfolded in less than 30 seconds. I'm pretty sure you can hold a child and pump gas at the same time. Just saying. And yes, I know it's too much time. Like, then we're gonna have to put our little baby thing in and put the baby in the little holster just to pump gas for 2 minutes just to go in and out. Yeah, sorry. That's part of being a parent. You're constantly rushing because there's never any time to do anything. So you try to find shortcuts, and shortcuts, you're putting your child's life at risk for these shortcuts to make your life a little easier. I don't think it's worth your child's life just to make your life a little easier for a few minutes. Just saying. So one and like that one where she left her car. She intentionally left her car so she can go to work. Now, how desperate was this lady to not lose her job? Because I mean, why else? I mean, to put your child in that risk, if like that would me, I'd be like, not coming in. Sorry. Oh, you're gonna fire me? Okay. 2 weeks later, I have a new job. Like you're not gonna make me back me into a corner to where I need to put my child's life at risk. Like, just not happening. Like, no, sorry. Your company is not important enough, because if we were important employees, you would help me for the day to put my child in a daycare so I can come to work for you. I'm just saying, pay me more for me to be here, and we'll be here, you know? But unfortunately, when people get paid more, prices go up. It's just never, I mean, I don't understand the concept of that. Like, again, getting off subject. We need to be alert. We need to be prepared, and we need to get out this information that this type of stuff can and will continue to happen if we don't educate parents, the public, caregivers. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So, anywho, they're being retarded. Being goofy. I shouldn't say retarded. They're being goofy. Okay. Um so that is pretty much it. These are like pretty much the most recent here that's happened in Texas. As you can tell, it's not just here in San Antonio, but there are like at least 4 cases here in San Antonio already. Two within the last like month. Um and the temperatures are only getting higher. Right now the temperature is not that high. They've only been in the 90s. We've had the flood, so now it's just a bunch of humidity. And that's what people don't understand. Just because our thermostat here in Texas, 70 degrees can feel like 90 degrees, believe it or not, especially after it rains. It's going to feel nasty, humid, ugly, like sticky, like you're just going to be dripping sweat. And you're like, it's 70 degrees. Why am I dripping sweat? But there's no air, no nothing, no circulation. Like, it's just dead, dry, swampy heat. I don't know how to explain it. It's Texas, and we call it Mother Nature. And we females tend to be a little woohoo. So yes, Texas has crazy weather. You never know what you're gonna get. But our temperatures we haven't will rise to over 100 degrees. Wait till August. Um, it will. I will. I'll get with you. Rest in peace, and I'll let's see. I got a lot of things to do today. I'll try to reach out today. If not today, I'll reach out tomorrow morning around this time. Yeah, this a lot of things have with the flood, the children being left in cars, like it's crazy, and I'm still trying to make sure I keep up with that Carmelo Anthony situation. I don't know what's going on with Cuckoo Head Charleston White, so I really don't know um, what's going to come out of this. So I know I think it was Rainbow Tasha who mentioned about I think. Um, Paxton getting a divorce. So I kind of want to look into that and see if there's anything going on there. But at the same time, this right here, leaving kids in cars is such. Okay, yeah, I'll get with you around lunchtime then. It's 10:30 right now where I'm at. So I'll get with you in the next hour or so after I eat lunch. And then I'll reach out to you because after this live, I'm gonna take a break again. I know I've been away these last couple of days, but my other my travel planning business is busy right now with next year's. Everybody's trying to get their trips in for next summer and things like that. So having to keep an eye on all the airlines and what's going on in Europe and Ukraine and stuff like that may affect the Europe trips that are wanting to go out. So I do have a few Europe trips that I'm planning for next weekend for a few clients. So I am being pulled in like 10,000 different ways. Again, don't forget, I am doing the event on the 19th. Let me take this off real quick. Stop sharing. Um, I will be doing my event on the 19th. Let's see, I don't have it here. Let me open it up here. See if I can. Hmm. But anyway, it is 19th here in San Antonio. It is going to be at the Wiener Schnitzel off of 151 and 410 area by the Lowe's. I think it's out there. No, it's a Home Depot. By the Home Depot where Acadiana used to be, since it's no longer there, but it was used to be a famous little restaurant there in that area. So if you're familiar with the area, you know where I'm talking about. You know where to go. Also in the area is the HEB off of Marbach and 410, where that's kind of close by. So we're in that little area right there. So please join us from 2 to 5, July 19th. We'll be out there. I'll have some little music playing. I'll have a bunch of brochures, I will be having again donations from some cups that will be offering out there for whoever donates, over $10 or more. We'll, we'll be giving out cups for that while supplies last, of course. Um, I know. Yes, there are babies. We really need to protect babies. I really think leaving a child in the car should automatically put some type of parent in some kind of parenting classes or on some type of probation. Now I get it, like again, to determine whether something was a true accident and whether something was intentionally done. I just think that should be a mandatory thing if you're found to have a child left in a car, whether it was at your attentions or an accident or even a caregiver, you as the parent and that caregiver should be held, accountable and responsible and take some type of probation classes where to avoid these things um, in the future and for them to have access to share their resources with others as well. It really is. It really is. It's just the maintenance man fixing the ACs across on the next building. Okay. But I did hear laughter. That's why I was like, I knew she was gonna start barking. Um, but again, we are having our event July 19th. So actually that's next weekend, next Saturday. Um, So next Saturday at the Reno Schnitzel, again, come out, enjoy some hot dogs, some food. It's a good place to enjoy. Um, Again, we'll be having donations above $10. We'll have cups to give out while supplies last. I'm still trying to think of other things to do. I know I'm going to give out some other gift cards. I'm just not sure which ones because I can't decide. Give me too many choices and I can't choose. So again, just keep a lookout for that. I'll probably be advertising it again throughout this week as I'm on. Um, if you want to support this channel or support the organization, please click the QR code at the top of the screen. You're more than welcome to donate that way. Or you can go down to or you can go and to Cash App Vivid Lifestyles, which is the organization. You can donate there or go down to the link down below, the streamlabs.com/dishin with D. And there you'll find my webpage. You'll have access to all my platforms. You'll be able to like, share, subscribe to all my platforms. Please, please, please do support, support, support. And then I also have the merch store up on that side. It's a Vivid Lifestyles merch store. I am currently working on the Dish and Tea with D merch. So again, you can support either the channel or the organization. It all is going for a good cause. Help stop the abuse, help prevent abuse, and help make abuse awareness of abuse here in the United States and across the world. Um, let's see, anything else? Anything else? I think that is going to be it. Please, please, before you walk away from your car, a quick little search. Look behind, in the back seat, look in the front seat. I don't care if you look under your seat. Please do a quick, brief search just to make sure you're not leaving your precious baby in the car. Again, we have had people, even in winter, leave their precious babies out. And again, if it's not heat stroke, it's going to be, if it's not hyperthermia, it's going to be hypothermia. Either one, it's going to be one of those. That's going to be tragic for the baby. So please, please check your vehicle. Look before you lock. Look before you lock. Look before you lock. Again, please go to any of these to donate to the organization and to the channel. My hearts go to all the babies and their families and family members, and prayers and everything, and not including all my prayers to the families in the floodings here in Texas. I know they have moved to New Mexico, and I know there was already deaths. I think as of yesterday or the day before. It's the storm is moving on. However, it is still causing damage and causing chaos and causing basically disheartening, separating families and separating families from their loved ones. So please keep them in prayer as well. Um, yes, look before you lock. Look before you lock. So again, please stay safe. Make sure your kids stay safe. Make sure other people's kids stay safe. Remember, you always got to have eyes and ears to look out. So again, thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you. Rest in peace. I will get in contact with you in a few hours, probably within the next hour and a half or so, because I'm hungry. So I'm gonna grab a quick bite to eat, and then I'll give you a call before I jump into my travel planning. So yes, so thank you everybody for being here. Please, 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 if I also do have the description of this video. Still, I have the list of things that y'all can donate to the people who were affected by the floods here in Texas. So please, you could take a look at that. You can go to there is, I believe, the video there. I'm not too sure if I have that video, but I do have the list in there, and it does say to donate to either the Red Cross or the Goodwill. They will all help you with your donations for the donations to get to the to get to the people needed in the flood. Okay, again, thank you for being here, everybody. It was nice. Well, not nice, but it was such an unfortunate story. But I'm glad to be here to give you this information and for everybody to be safer as what is this is supposed to be intended to do. So if I just save one baby's life, I did my job. So again, thank you for being here, and don't forget, pinkies up.